Dreaming about teaming up with a superhero? Heartbroken about the latest comic death? Do you find your conversations always turning to Marvel? Then welcome Marvelites to your therapy session. Join your hosts as we explore the realms of the Marvel Universe, taking you into new insights, movie reviews, and debates. Here, we won't try to cure any obsessions, but fuel them, because the world is better nerdy. Welcome to your Marvel Therapy Group.
Hey, yo,
Sure,
Simon.
if you want to.
Hey, puppy. He's just gonna be sitting there painting the whole time.
I'm surprised you didn't name Simon after a Marvel character, Joe.
Oh, I was in 3rd grade when we got Simon. I mean, I was still a huge Marvel fan back then, but like, not enough to consider naming my pet after a Marvel character.
Not even just like Spider-Man. You can call him like Peter, like
right?
Bruce.
But I was in 3rd grade. I mean, now if I get a pet now, there's
100%.
no question it's getting named after a Marvel character. I've actually been thinking, honestly, yeah, Magnus, or just go full out Magneto.
Magneto the dog.
I love it. Or I really want to get a pet frog.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that.
Magneto the frog. That fits. I like that.
Yeah.
No, I've actually been thinking, after Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6, the villain was named Izel. That's a cool name.
Yeah.
Like Izel the frog or Izel the dog. It's a cool name. And she was a really good villain, so Izel.
So
Izel is my next
Feels
pet.
like you have to.
Yeah. Anyways, we are recording.
I couldn't tell if we were recording or not, so I just went with it.
So, welcome everyone to Marvel Therapy Group. We apologize for the long break, but life gets in the way, and even now I am eating pizza for dinner because I just got home, and we are recording because this is when we have time.
Think of that break as like our Avengers 5-year time jump.
True. Yes, we are coming back. I don't know the saying. We are coming back swinging. And full force. All the portals are open. It's saying that. It's just Jack and I today. But to make up for that break, we do have a special announcement at the end of the episode. So stick around for some really exciting news. Well, you'll find out what
You
it is.
already have my attention.
Amazing. You already know what it is. Alright. I've forgotten what we were going to talk about this episode.
Well, lucky for you, I remembered. And so this is bad news, but it almost kind of works out for us because we have something to talk about, which is that earlier this week, hit the fan. Can we bleep that out?
We can bleep that out.
Okay. But yeah, so Sony announced that they were going to take back Spider-Man and he's not going to be in the MCU anymore. And I saw that originally, and I was just like, I didn't really think anything of it, because, I'm like, oh, these articles come out all the time. It's probably like, they're having, I just assumed they were having negotiations, and it's like somebody got wind of that and, like, blew it out of proportions. And there was, like, clickbait stuff. But then, like, all these, like, legitimate sources started reporting on it. Like, IGN, who I trust pretty much, Hollywood Reporter. They all started reporting on it. Then, like, Sony releases this official statement saying, like, yeah, it's happening.
I still think that most of it is speculation. Not that Sony is not taking back Spider-Man, but the details surrounding it, I think, is still... Like, we know that Disney wanted 50% from the next Spider-Man movies. Sony wanted to give them 5%. And then... Who walked away? Disney, right? Disney walked away, saying no.
I think Sony walked away. From what I heard, it sounds like there's a lot of back and forth. I think both sides are to blame. But what it sounds like, from what I've heard, it sounds like Sony... So the original deal, going back to how they could use Spider-Man in the MCU, was that Marvel would... produce the film. Sony would,
Yeah?
Do you want me to start over?
No. I'm just putting on our Instagram story. Simon, my dog.
Oh, Simon.
I was listening, though. Partially.
So I guess the deal originally, from what I know, is that Marvel would produce these films, Sony would cover all the costs, and then Marvel would get, I think, 5% of the first weekend gross, and then Sony got everything else. So Marvel essentially was making nothing for distributing these movies. So I think Sony, when they went to go try to renegotiate, Sony was really hoping to get this deal again, but from what it sounds like they were willing to compromise a bit. Like, they went in kind of with the idea that they weren't gonna get this, but this is what they were hoping in, like, a best case scenario. Whereas from what it sounds like Marvel came in and they were like, we want this, this, and this, and it was Marvel that refused to budge, and so Sony was like, okay, well, if you won't compromise at all, then no, and then they took Spider-Man away.
Oh. And it's really weird because I'm pretty sure you have said on this show before that it's just stupid for Sony to, like, try to make any other deal because, like you just said, they get all the profits except for merchandising.
Mm-hmm. Marvel still owns that.
So it's literally Marvel does all, or Disney does all the work. Sony just sits back with a contract and collects their money.
Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah, so I guess they wanted that. Well, I guess their whole thing was Marvel was asking for, they wanted creative control over, like, the spin-off Spider-Man project, so, like, Venom, or Venom 2,
Disney did?
Yeah, Disney wanted that.
Oh, that's okay.
So then they started, they wanted that, and then they also wanted, like, all sort of other Marvel projects, so, like, Into the Spider-Verse and, like, stuff like that.
Oh,
yeah, and Sony was like, no, you can't do that. Like, that's asking too much.
That is asking too much. I'm sorry.
I mean, I agree. I think Disney was kind of greedy there. Like, I mean, you did nothing for Into the Spider-Verse. You shouldn't get to reap the rewards for that one. That one was all Sony.
Yeah, and Into the Spider-Verse is, like, the best Spider-Man movie we've ever gotten.
Yeah. You didn't do that.
Didn't Sony even... like, they're trying to patent that technology, right? Those graphics?
Yeah, they were trying to patent the technology that they needed, that they used to make that movie, like the animation.
So I've heard Tom Holland has one more movie left in his contract.
I've heard 2.
Okay.
But I've heard 2 for him, but I've also heard the director is not, John Was, the director of the first 2, is not signed up to do a third.
So no matter what happens... Sorry, my mouth is full of pizza.
Yeah, it's happened to me a couple times in this recording.
So no matter what happens, Tom Holland has to play Spider-Man in whatever Spider-Man movies come up next.
I think so.
Or whatever Spider-Man appearances, because, like, Disney can't put Tom Holland in the next... Doctor Strange, like the next movie. Black Widow, he can't be in those movies.
No, they would just separate entirely.
Yeah.
Which, I think it'd be weird if he never showed... My roommate and I were joking about this. We were just like, what if this deal had happened before Endgame, and he just didn't come back?
I'd be pretty
weird. At the big battle, but yeah, this whole thing is weird. It definitely seems like just both sides are just being idiots.
Yes.
Like, I mean, Sony's being an idiot because this is very lucrative for them, so just suck it up. But then Marvel is also being an idiot because the last...
Disney.
Well, okay, so why I say Marvel's being an idiot is because they literally just made a movie called Spider-Man Far From Home, where they essentially just set up Spider-Man to be the next Iron Man of this universe.
Yeah.
Why would you do this? Why would you make so much effort to make a character that you do not own the central character of your universe?
And
that just seems dumb to me. Well, no, then just because you might lose him.
Right.
Like, you don't own this character. Why would you position him to be like the new face of your franchise when you don't own him?
That's a really good point. I mean, they probably didn't see this coming, but then again, why walk out of the meeting? Ugh. I'm not worried though. It's gonna work itself out.
This definitely seems like something that could work itself out.
We all know that Disney's just gonna go buy Sony.
They can't. I don't think they can. Everyone says that, but like Sony's more than just their movies. Sony is like Sony's all their technology division. Like I honestly think the company rivals Disney. Like like the total company. Not their movie division, but I feel like their total division, their technology division.
Then Disney would just buy
like the big company.
Sony is their movie division is cowering. They know that Disney, Bob Iger is like, oh, how much money can we spend to buy their movies? And then because it's just the movies, not the company, it'll pass all the monopoly laws and it'll go through.
I don't see this being a situation where somebody's gonna buy Sony. I think it's more gonna be a situation where both parties are going to go back and be like, let's try to work this out. I feel like that's the more likely thing that's going to happen.
I actually Googled Disney net worth, and one of the suggested things is Disney net worth versus Sony. So, perfect. Let's go with that.
Yeah, let's do this.
Oh, wow, okay. It's actually all about Sony and Spider-Man and Disney. So it's not going to give me an answer.
That was very disappointing, Joe.
I mean, I'll post it on Twitter.
It's a lot of build up for nothing.
I'll look at our Twitter, at Therapy Marvel.
I found a pretty good meme for the Instagram, too, about this. I'm gonna post it.
Oh.
It just seems so weird to me. Like this, I definitely see this thing as being something that they're just gonna sit down and be like, look, like, let's just work this out. I feel like they're gonna, but... That'd be so weird if they just didn't and we just lost Spider-Man.
I really hope that my crunching isn't being picked up with a microphone. I'm so off topic. But you're right. Especially with the post-credit scenes. Well, only that one post-credit scene with J. Jonah Jameson.
Mm-hmm. That
would be the only loose end where it's like, what happened? But here's the other thing. Even if this deal doesn't work itself out and Sony has the full rights to the Spider-Man and all the Spider-Man characters, they could still have their movies, like, interact with the MCU. Like, they could make a Spider-Man 3 with Tom Holland and it would just be a continuation off of Far From Home. They bring in J.K. Simmons and Zendaya and all the rest.
Yeah, but they can't use any Marvel characters. And it would just be weird. Because they literally can't reference anything.
Would it be any weirder than, like, Ant-Man or Black Panther?
No, I think because it would essentially just be like this character has been intrinsically tied to Tony Stark for literally every movie he's been in, he's been just tied to Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
Then this third movie, they literally can't mention Tony Stark. They can't mention Stark Tech. The villains that, like, Tony Stark has literally created can't be referenced.
Or Happy.
Yeah, we can't have Happy. We literally can't have anything. This would just be like... This would be like Thanos wiping out, like, half the universe again around Spider-Man.
I don't know. I think they could do it. They have so many Spider-Man characters they go through. And I think at this point he could have a standalone movie. In the MCU, or whatever version of the MCU Sony wants to carry on with.
I don't know, Joe.
And there's nothing saying that Sony can't approach Marvel at any time and say, hey, like, dangle a string, you want to borrow this?
Well, I feel like had these discussions come out after Endgame, but before Far From Home, I feel like Marvel would have been on a much stronger footing in these negotiations, because essentially they could be like, look, Spider-Man, like we want to keep using Spider-Man, but literally, like, we've done some awesome stuff with him in the past 4 movies. He is literally, like, his last appearance would literally just be him being thrown, holding on to Mjolnir, while he holds the Infinity Gauntlet to hand it off to Captain Marvel. Like, at one point you'd be like, Marvel would be like, look, we want to keep using him, but this would be, like, we've literally, like, if people never saw Spider-Man again in our universe, they would be fine. Like, this is just a perfect end for him. But then Far From Home comes out, where they literally make an effort to set him up as the next Iron Man. they have all these loose ends. They end on a massive cliffhanger, and it makes $1 billion. And now Sony is coming in saying, "You need us a lot more than we need you."
It's true.
So I think Disney went. My overall impressions of this is that Disney went in thinking they were on like a much stronger footing. And I think Sony went in expecting more negotiation, and when they didn't get that, I think maybe even it was just like a sense of pride. They were like, "You can't like intimidate us. Mm-hmm. This is ridiculous. Like, we're leaving."
On both sides.
This is what it sounds like to me.
On both sides.
It sounds like Marvel went in and didn't expect Sony to be as tough as they were. Disney.
Let's not put Marvel up.
You really don't like when I do that, do you?
Marvel, there's nothing wrong with Marvel. Disney, on the other hand, I can criticize a little bit. I don't feel bad. What else was I going to talk about? I forget what I was going to talk about. Sony just bought the gaming platform that they made the Spider-Man game on.
PS4?
Yeah. Well, they didn't buy...
They make PS4.
They didn't buy PS4. They bought the company that made the game.
Oh, Insomniac?
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds...
I was like, they make PS4s already.
Oh, see, then Disney would own PS4s if they bought Sony.
The PSD.
Yeah,
5.
all the
PlayStation Disney 4.
all the PS4s would be covered in like cartoon characters. They'd probably like sing to you because Disney.
Speaking of Disney, did you see, going off topic a little bit, they released their schedule for when Disney Plus is coming out?
Yeah.
So they have the Mandalorian, which actually looks really good, like the Star Wars show. But then they released just all these previews for like what they're gonna release, and I'm like, this looks really bad.
Oh, really?
Like a live action Lady and the Tramp.
Oh.
High School Musical, the series. And a Christmas movie starring Bill Hader and Anna Kendrick.
I like Anna Kendrick.
I like both those actors. I just feel like this is a weird project for them. Bill Hader, he was on SNL.
I don't watch SNL.
You've probably seen him and stuff.
I'm not. Yeah, all the Marvel stuff on Disney Plus isn't being released for a while, so I'm not gonna spend. What is it? $8 a month. $6 a month in Disney Plus.
Because they're trying to undercut Netflix.
I mean, I'm still not. It's not a lot, but I'm still not gonna spend that when I'm not watching the shows. I'm gonna wait till the first Marvel thing drops.
And we just continue on our campaign to make sure we're never sponsored by Disney Plus. We just crap on this service every episode.
Apparently. I mean, where does it stop? Like, if all these companies come out with their own streaming services, it's more expensive than cable. And that's the point of these things, to like drop cable. You can watch all your things on one platform. So yeah,
final thoughts about Sony Marvel?
I still can't remember what I was going to say. But, assuming that this deal stays, or this non-deal stays permanent, Spider-Man, I think it'll work out either way. And I'm not saying that I like Sony having Spider-Man, because I prefer Marvel to have all their characters like tucked close to them. But even if Sony keeps Spider-Man and all of his friends, I think it'd be cool to have that little like pocket Spider-Verse where Tom Holland's Spider-Man can battle Venom, can interact with Morbius and whatever other movies they're planning. Okay, here's another question. If Disney wants Spider-Man, and after Far From Home, his secret identity was just revealed, could they just change the character? So his name is now Parker
Peters?
yeah, Parker Peters. And so, like, Peter Parker changed his name to Parker Peters, but he doesn't go by Spider-Man anymore. He happens to be a wall crawler, but he's not, like, Night Monkey.
I've seen those memes around, like,
really?
how Disney gets around not having Spider-Man, like Night Monkey the movie.
Yeah, it's not Spider-Man.
No,
it's
they
not the
can't
same
do
exact-
that.
It's not the character.
Yes, it is.
That character did not originate in any Spider-Man comic.
So stop it.
I think they could do
They
it.
can't do it.
Are you Disney's lawyer?
I could be. I don't know. Maybe one day.
I think they could do it. Which would be really weird. And then, like, they could just hire Tom Holland.
If they just happen to. We're not making a Spider-Man movie. We're just making a movie about a teenage superhero that we just happen to cast Tom Holland. I mean, these things happen.
Exactly, yeah. There's like, this character has really similar powers to Spider-Man, but it's not Spider-Man. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe that's what I was gonna say. No. I was gonna say something earlier. I still don't remember. But, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Alright, so, that was really our big topic for this episode, but we also had something else we were going to talk about, which is that this is a little bit late, but...
No, wait.
What?
Okay, what are you talking about?
I was going to...
Is it our special announcement or our second topic?
Our second topic.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about our second topic.
So as I was saying on our very well planned out episode, I was listening to the podcast Wolverine: The Long Night.
So good.
I'm not done. I got 2 episodes left, but like I've listened to enough of it that I can talk about it.
So talk about it.
Okay. It's good. It's interesting. It's a very slow burn. Like when they didn't have Wolverine in like the first episode, I was like, all right, he's gonna show up in like by episode like 2 or 3. Nope. He is nowhere to be seen by episode 8.
That's fair. I remember thinking that too. But, I mean, so I listened to... If we go back and listen to our previous episodes, I was listening to Marvel's Wolverine: The Long Night when it was coming out on a weekly basis. And I loved it. Do you guys hear Simon? He was just pacing around and panting because he's old. I loved the Wolverine podcast, and I talked about it a little bit on the show. It is really good, and part of the reason I liked it so much was because of the perspective. Because it's from Agent Sally Pierce and... What's the other agent's name?
Oh, I should probably know this, but...
It's mostly Sally Pierce. She's like the main character. But they go to Alaska because there's been a fishing fleet, or a fishing boat crew murdered, but because it's off, like in the water, it's considered international waters, so the FBI gets involved. And so these two FBI, right?
Yes.
FBI
Well, they're
agents.
they're federal agents.
Agent Sally Pierce. And there's Simon. And,
That was a big fall right there.
Simon has arthritis. He can't get down that easy. He just kind of... just flops. So they go to investigate this murder or murders in Alaska. And everyone they talked to was talking about this new guy that moved recently named Logan, who was working on the boat. And by the end of the episode, I think, they're on the boat and they're like, no one could swim to shore, like, this distance. And I think it's Sally Pierce that says, our guy could. Or, like, we know who could. And so you know right away that they know who they're hunting down.
Do they? I didn't get that. I feel like they don't quite know who Logan is.
Oh, they do. This audio drama has such a twist, or for the first season, has such a twist ending. I would never, ever have guessed it in a million years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm liking it. I mean, I like the I like all the voice actors. I like the sound effects are all really good. The atmosphere is really good. It's an interesting story. I've mentioned on the show before, I'm a big fan of Doctor Who, and Doctor Who does a lot of this stuff, like audio adventures. So I'm a fan of the genre, or the medium, I should say. So yeah, I'd recommend it.
Okay, can we also talk about the guy that voices Wolverine is Richard Armitage?
Mm-hmm.
You've at least heard him, right? You've heard Wolverine at this point, Logan?
Yeah.
until now, haven't looked up Richard Armitage, but I like the voice acting. I just looked him up. This guy should play Wolverine when Wolverine comes into the MCU.
He's a legit actor.
Yeah, look at this guy. He looks like Wolverine.
He does look like Wolverine.
He even looks like Hugh Jackman.
For those of you who don't know, I feel like his most high-profile role, I believe, is the leader of the dwarves in the Hobbit franchise.
Thor and
Oakenshield. I feel bad I don't know that. I love The Hobbit. Not the movies, but the book. I like the book a lot.
I only know that because I just Googled the guy.
But yeah, that's probably what you might know him from. I mean, Thor and Oakenshield is like the best part of that film franchise, so...
Oh. Still haven't seen it.
Yeah, you don't have to. Just watch Lord of the Rings again.
I haven't seen Lord of the Rings.
No, see, that one you need to watch.
Here comes the hate mail. Tweet at me, at Therapy Marvel. So, I'm on season 2, and I'm on episode 8, or I've just finished episode 8, so it came out like 2 months ago, but again, a weekly basis. And I think, how many episodes in the first season? 10?
10.
So there's probably going to be 10 in the second season too. This season, what can I say about it? Yeah, I can say this, I think. There's no spoilers for Jack. This season, Logan goes to New Orleans. I can't really say a whole lot without spoiling it.
Ooh, I mean, I like that. Wolverine goes... That's all you need to say. I'm sold on that premise. Wolverine goes to New Orleans.
Yeah, seriously. Bring the whole Marvel Universe to New Orleans, please. Because Cloak and Dagger Season 2 was flawless. That's...
Flawless.
Yes. Such a good season.
That's high praise.
At times, when I was watching Cloak and Dagger, I was like, do I like this better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? And then, of course, I was like...
Sacrilegious,
no.
Joe.
But it's a... very close second. And my loyalty to AOS, I can't even say it's tied, but like, it really is. It's such a good show. Anyway, and they were in New Orleans. And it was really good how they used all the New Orleans.
No, I can just imagine like that whole like the whole like vibe of that city would work good in that format.
They don't go into New Orleans culture in season 2 of Marvel's Wolverine, which they changed. I listened to it on Spotify, and they changed the name. It used to be Wolverine: The Long Night. Now it's just Marvel's Wolverine, which makes sense, I guess, because then they keep season 1 and season 2 in the same album.
Yeah,
I guess instead
series.
Instead of having to come up with a second one for The Lost Trail. Which, how cool of a title is that?
That's pretty good.
The Lost Trail. Oh, in season 2 there are a lot more mutants, which is really cool.
I feel like you'd like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Please listen to it soon.
I can't tell if they live in if like this is a Marvel universe where it's like superheroes are a big thing. Because it feels like people are like, well, that's impossible. They shouldn't be able to do that. And I'm like, oh, maybe this is a world where it's like superheroes aren't that well known, you know?
That's why I liked this too. Because I was thinking one character, one X-Man, how can they do that? But they do it in a really good way that, yeah, I think the X-Men exist and superheroes exist, but I think this is the time period where Wolverine just came out of Weapon X.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, he just escaped. He hasn't joined the X-Men yet, so superheroes aren't as popular. Plus, they're in some isolated community in Alaska.
Yeah.
And I think a superhero suddenly showing up in Alaska, people are going to be like, no, who is this guy? This is all, like, rumors and tall tales. So, again, I really liked that perspective. I think it would be cool if they continue this in future seasons to bring in the X-Men. Maybe they take Logan all the way to joining the X-Men, and then you can get voice actors like Storm and Jean Grey and Cyclops. Which would be really cool.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be... They don't have to become main characters. They could be in it for a season, and then Logan's like, alright, I got more stuff to do. On to season 4.
Even just an episode would be cool.
Yeah, it really would. I wonder if they are using these audio dramas to test out actors for these roles to put into the MCU.
It feels like wishful thinking, but it is possible. Anything's possible.
Yeah. I mean, listening to... Do you want to know the two big mutants that are in season 2?
No.
Okay. You literally find out... Yeah, so I was listening to season 2, episode 1, and there's something that's happening, and I'm like, who could this be? I'm trying to rack my brains for all the Marvel characters I know. I'm like, whose power sets match? What's happening? Who could it be? There's Simon getting up. And as I'm thinking about it, the credits roll, and they literally say, this person plays this one. And I'm like, oh, well, there goes the surprise. I guess I don't have to guess anymore. I was a little let down about that, but then you find out really quickly, so I don't think it was supposed to be a surprise anyway.
No.
So wait until the credits of season 2, episode 1, then we can talk about it.
Alright, will do.
Yes. Anything else about Marvel's Wolverine? Except that it's the best audio drama out there?
Yeah, I recommend.
Oh, actually, in season 2, there is an advertisement for... Because they do commercials. There's a commercial for another audio drama called The White Vault. And I went to listen to it. And I also recommend that. But we're not, endorsed or sponsored by them or anything. And we're not...
So, I mean, that almost makes it an even better endorsement. We're not getting paid to say we like it, we just like it.
True. Yeah. But we're a Marvel podcast. And, I thought this was related because it was a commercial on a Marvel podcast, audio drama, so it worked. Anyway.
Alright, so Joe, you had something you wanted to say, just to wrap up the episode?
Okay. I have a special announcement. And we are doing... Yeah, drum roll. We're doing a raffle. We're giving away a really cool, awesome Avengers Endgame poster. It has the Nano Gauntlet on it, and it says "We Love You 3000," and it's awesome. And I don't it was limited edition. They're giving it away at some select movie theaters, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I got my hands on one. So, the rules. This episode was released on August 26th. We're keeping this contest going for 2 weeks, ending September 9th, Monday. And then we will release say the winner on Monday, September 16th. Sorry. The rules. Find us on Twitter or Instagram. Twitter is @TherapyMarvel. Instagram is Marvel Therapy Group. And you have to, in one of our posts, preferably the post about this contest or about our episode, tag 2 of your friends who you think would be interested in listening to our podcast. And tag them. And then that's it. You'll automatically be entered into a chance to win this poster. And we have a lot of international listeners, so enter. We'll just mail it to you.
Yeah, be cool.
Yeah, really. If you live... Well, I don't know if we could mail it to Antarctica, but...
I feel like you could.
Yeah, actually, probably. It might take a little longer to get there. Or Alaska. I mean, we can definitely mail to Alaska.
That'd be appropriate, actually.
That's why I brought it up, yeah. I don't think we have any listeners in Alaska, but... tag your friends who live in Alaska. So that's what we're asking. Just comment and
People in Alaska get 2 entries.
Oh, that's not true. Just comment and tag 2 of your friends who you think would be interested in this podcast, and you'll automatically be entered into this raffle.
Yeah. All right. Sounds awesome.
We'll try to like the your comments that that we saw it. If we don't, just let us know. But we'll try to keep up with it. So, there you have it. And again, look on our Twitter and Instagram pages for this poster. We're not going to take a picture of the poster, I mean, not just of the poster, because then you could just screenshot that and print it yourself. But there'll be a picture of the poster with something like one of us in it. All right. Cool?
Yeah.
Cool. There's Simon pacing around again. Also, check out our Instagram page for pictures of Simon, who's my dog.
Ooh, he is a cute dog, Joe.
Alright. So this has been another episode of Marvel Therapy Group. We definitely needed some therapy after hearing about this Spider-Man news, but we can listen to the audio drama Marvel's Wolverine: The Lost Trail, which helps us get us through our times of woe. Tune in again next week for another episode of Marvel Therapy Group.
Yeah, and as always, thanks for listening.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's Marvel Therapy Group, where together we can work through our comic thoughts and learn to live beside them. Views expressed are of the host only and do not reflect Marvel Studios or comics in any way. Hosts are in no way qualified to provide therapy. This is simply the name of the podcast. This has been another Marvel Therapy Group session.